Alright, welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 163. We're here reviewing episodes 3 through 6 of Kamen Rider Ryuki. Yeah, we start off basically with a two-parter here with this one. Yes, the first probably only time we actually have two episodes basically are like follow each other. And here's a fun fact about episode 3. It is, out of 50 episodes of the series, the highest rated episode of the whole series. I'm thinking 3? That's kind of early. And apparently it's like it's like it's like a 2% more than the average rating they have of the whole series. So the whole thing of this one is that we know a little bit more what's going on here. So we see Sandro meeting up with a character was mentioned in the previous episode, Shiro, who is Yuki's brother. And he is in the mirror world for some reason. As for the reason for this, I do not know. He mentions basically that Friars must fight, Dylan must be won. It's like a Highlander thing, especially wearing a raincoat. And then later on, basically, he does talk to Yuri about this. And she's not surprised. And we also find out that during the course of the comic, we find out that her brother Shiro actually made the decks that the two writers, that Knight and Ryuki, used. And there's also multiple monsters in these two episodes. Look like grasshopper themed monsters. Yes, because for the first couple episodes, it is basically it's basically just the same monsters evolved, and now they have grasshoppers. Mm-hmm. It's Gazelle. Yes. Yeah, they're the ones who. There's like 4 of them, and at least 4 of them seen here. You have Gigazelle, Megazelle, Nagazelle, Omegazelle, and Megazelle. Megazelle, I don't think appears in this one. No, he doesn't. Well, actually, they usually have. Let's see. Just basically Megazelle and Gigazelle, though I think they come back. Yeah, after these 2 episodes, they're defeated. But aside from the fact we also get a chance to see Sanji, where he actually transforms the first time. Interesting. In a later episode, him and Ren do double rider basically pose. Also, they do basically resolve what happened at the end of the first 2 episodes, where basically Ren is beating the crap out of Shidro because of the writer, and so Yuri decided to throw a sign in the window in order to get their attention and tell them, "Please stop fighting." And then the order man comes out, basically demands 30,000 yen to fix the damages. And Ren basically, and of course, Sandro himself volunteers to pay it, but Ren pays anyways. So now Sandro owes the money. Later on, because he's broke, his landlord kicks him out of his apartment because he hasn't paid rent in months. Well, probably if his boss paid him, basically he'll pay rent. Because I'm thinking like, okay, what exactly is he spending his money on? It's like maybe food. And maybe gasoline for his moped that he drives around. Yes. So, what exactly is he spending on? I have it out it's clothing. So, It's not really stated what he's been spending on. Is it gambling? Don't know. And so he's like doing investigating differently than Rinko, like possibly out her. At one point he tries to convince her to stop, but he's just like, nope. Yeah, and also the fact that these grasshoppers are basically trying to kill people at school. At one point causing a whole bunch of windows to break. Yes. Though eventually, of course, they do eventually, well, he feeds one of them supposedly. I would say he went one who, I see a girl who would just take out trash. You see him transform, and you see him hop in his motorcycle, which apparently is the same motorcycle thing that Ren drives. I first saw this thing, I'm like, wait, this looks a lot like the same motorcycle that Black drives. Well, one in many ways, because he doesn't just drive Battle Hopper, he drives also the one has like a missing part, like almost like a roof or whatever. Reminds me much of that one. I'm sure they based it on that, but I never heard any source confirming that, but it looks like it. Not Battle Hopper, it's the other one that he drives. The bigger one. The one he occasionally uses basically for dimensions, whatever. I think it was either that or I think it was with Black, I think it was. So, after the two-parters wrapped up, and then at the end of the two-parter, we debut another writer. That being, well, actually debut the guy who's like, oh, he's got admin deck, and we show him next episode, and this is Kamen Rider Scissors. Because he's got pincers, that's why I call him Scissors. And the whole mystery of who the heck this guy is, and he's evil. And a lot of people think about this two-parter, that he is, in fact, the owner of this antique shop where several disappearances have been happening, and then later find out, nope, not him. And at one point you have Rinko who's wearing an eye patch for some reason, apparently it's a style. She gets attacked. Later on she basically is questioned by the police again about the assault. And she's like, didn't Officer Chiro tell you? You're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, and then of course Shiro leaves his business card behind. So then he thinks he's talking to Mr. Kaga. Turns out he's actually talking to not him but somebody else. And then of course Ren, being curious about the broken mirror that was smashed by Rico, like, oh, there's a crack there. And he takes down like, oh crap, there are several cracks here. And then he proceeds to smash up the wall, revealing that the owner of the shop is dead and he's inside that wall. And it showed a flashback that Shiro gave the guy who became Kamen Rider Scissors. He gave him that deck after he murdered his partner. Apparently it was like over money. I'm like, interesting. And Shiro, he apparently had been killing people. Yeah. Because he felt like it. Despite the fact he's supposed to be a police officer, apparently. Eventually, of course, two police officers who were questioning, like, oh yeah, the whole thing about this guy. And then, like, he's brought the questioning, and he just runs away, and he has his monster kill the two police officers. And then, of course, Rinko's like, oh yeah, I've always trusted police officers. Despite the fact she wrote an article in the first episode about police corruption. Where she is very cold to them. Kind of counterproductive. And of course, Shiro does ask basically about her eyes. Oh, eyes fine. It's just basically style. Yeah, at least basically they answer that question. Yep. So, then they battle him. He has bound first time in a warehouse. And it's like, oh, I want to talk. And then he gets killed. Of course, he nearly kills Ren. He actually is pissed about Yuri. Then, of course, basically kidnaps Yuri. And then, thanks to Ren chasing him down, he basically nearly drives his car into a river. Yes, knock out a frickin' dock. But so the guy just walks away with his car just still there, and Ren just takes Yuri home and tucks her in. Then we actually have have a conversation later on, and then they have where like, okay, let's say there's like writers, and apparently like, yeah, I basically volunteered to about monsters, not writers, but you make it because you're evil. So then of course Prince is like, I'll fight them. Then they transform, and then they go to. And I saw this place. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the same location used in Mega Range with the whole archways and the. Yeah, it's the same exact freaking place. I'm like, damn, I did not expect to see this at all in a Kamen Rider series. Well, in the previous series I just watched, Tokuger just used an interior of a house that was C and O's. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. Eventually, of course, his deck gets smashed, and so his monster turns on him, his contractor monster, and then he proceeds to crush him and eat him. He is a partner. And this is all because the contract was broken because the deck broke. Yeah, then of course they had to battle the monster. Then of course Shiro comes in, fights the monster real quickly, and tells the dragon don't absorb it, and then Darkwing absorbs it too. Instead. So very interesting 4 episodes. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And keep believing I'm only 6 episodes. I actually was going to stop at 35, but I figured, though, not exactly the idea. I figured, why not stop at 28? Because 28 is going to be the end of the first story arc. That's basically where I'm going to stop there with that one. Yep. But yeah, so right now, before my break, I have 22 episodes left to go. Overall, for the whole series, there are 44 left to go. Yep. So yeah, this particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, we have a Comic Corner, and then we're going to watch Black Butler. Okay, thanks, you. Bye.